Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? What's going on? Today is Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Let me change this really quick. We're going to be looking at obviously the futures market, specifically the NQ, and looking at overall market context. We'll also look a little bit at QQQ and we'll look a little bit at SPY. But also we'll keep our eyes on gold, silver, and oil. Let me see what this is. Huh. That's weird. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up my pre-market read here just really quick by 8:20, and then I'll kind of go over what I'm expecting. But looking at NQ, I am expecting right now, just kind of how it's already looking, is a rollover back into the new week opening gap. So 24,600s, 24,550s, maybe even market open, before we see buyers start to cover their positions, right? Because they were short, they scared them almost out of it. A lot of people probably gave their orders back here at 24,900, and then maybe price will fall over. So we'll see. Let me do this really quick. Okay. So yeah, let me finish this just really quick. Pre-market read. Okay, so cool. So really quick, I already have NQ marked up. We have previous day highs, the high on week, the initial balance low of the day, which looks like they're gonna take that. Now, one thing I'll go ahead and say here really quickly. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Is gonna be is if we take that IB low, 24,700, and we reach into the demand candle looking left here, then I'm gonna be looking for price to I'm gonna be looking for price to possibly like shorts to cover right when they hit that liquidity zone, and then possibly a bounce back up to the high on day, which is gonna be 24,920s right here. So let me go ahead and mark that as well, and then we'll go ahead and mark the other two assets just so we have that comparative strength. So this is gonna be our high on day. Okay, so we're already on that. Now when we go to sniping, I'm gonna move you guys back to the main window most likely. But let's look at the other assets, okay? So we have previous day highs, previous day lows, previous day high, previous day low marked. So I can go ahead and take this off, take the London off, and take the New York off, take this London off, okay? All right, so let's mark the daily opens for these assets here. This is gonna be YM here on the far left. All right, for Thursday. And we wanna mark London open. Now, guys, I do this every day. Right, this is what I do every day. I mark these areas. Now, why do I do this and not like set up like honestly like AI or something to do it? It's because I like to be able to see the prices right on the other assets and see what kind of liquidity we're looking at on the way up and way down. All right, so we have daily open, London market. We got everything there. Now we just need to remark everything here. This is going to be Thursdays open. All right, and this is what's called point of interest. All right, so we'll talk more about this in other calls, and then I'll also be dropping videos over these specific things. But London open. All right, we don't need this. We have previous day high, previous day low. We don't need this anymore, and we don't need the old London here. Okay, so we got the high on week, previous day high, previous day low. They've already started to make lower lows, and then we have an IBL. All right, so this is an initial balance low for ES. All right, so if they take that IB low, all right, because that was the initial balance low, they don't respect this demand candle, then I think they move down to 6670s on ES. Okay, previous day high, previous day lows, week low. Okay, and we also know where that week low is. Now I'm going to show the 4-hour plays here in a second, just for directional bias, and kind of give you guys an understanding of why I'm looking at these specific areas. IB. Okay, and make sure I got the highs over here. High all day. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're all good on that. So we have all these set. IB, New York. We don't need that. Okay. So dailies. We need daily here. Always got to have, for me personally, at least ES marked up, because it moves in unison here. All right. Okay. We're looking good. Okay, cool. So pretty much what I'm gonna see from here when I go to the higher time frame, because we're gonna cut this short here around 25. When I'm looking at this from this 4-hour directional perspective, and we have one more day left in the week, me personally, I'd like to see them come down into the opening week gaps, right? So if you can already notice, they've already done that here. They've already filled that gap here, like the gap that was on YM. They've already filled the gap almost on ES. Like they've got a little bit more to go, but that opening week gap for NQ is still way down here, okay? And so I could see us definitely getting down to that opening week gap if we don't hold support here at the New York Open, okay? And so I'm going to be really patient. I'm going to be looking at like 15-5 setups. Obviously, I'm just looking for a 1 to 3, 1 to 5 R, and nothing too crazy. But these are kind of the levels that I'm looking for when it comes to NQ. Now, we'll also be watching, excuse me, the open of QQQ. If it really does gap down and fill the inefficiency here, right, inside this fair value gap, the sells on option plays, I'm sure individuals will possibly be covering some of those positions inside of an imbalance, and that could send price up. So that's why I'm still thinking that, NQ could possibly be in a situation to where we're going to see price push back up. Now I'm also taking a look here at gold, oil. Oil's on the move, so that's pretty interesting as well. So we'll see what we get. Taking a look at dollar just really quick. Dollar is pretty strong here when you're looking at weekly, daily. So with double tops right here, so we could see the rise here. So this could be the day where we push down into those higher time frame 4-hour areas, and then we reaccumulate and reclaim price to go higher. So just depends. But I'm gonna stop talking as much now. We're gonna wait to see what we execute. I'll do my best to tell you guys what I'm looking for. If you guys have been following me or been trading with me for a while, you know I like to take trades in the first 15 minutes or the last 15 minutes. And I also like to take trades when the 5-minute candle is closing, okay? And so if I'm identifying an area, just take that into consideration, okay? So let me check a couple things here really quick. Everything's set, leader accounts, everything's good. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's what it is. I'm gonna move you guys. Let's see here. Actually, for the open, we're gonna watch this window, just because I do want to see how they open. Make sure I got my 15 set here. All right, so we want to see if they're gonna take those lows, like if they're gonna create divergences or whatnot on like a YM. Okay. So this is the IBL on YM. Cool. And like this target to me, when I see something like this, I immediately am gonna mark that as like a liquidity target for later or during the session. It just depends. Okay. And those are the pretty much, well, for them that's the high on day. So So let me move this because this is not the high on day either, right? This is actually the high on day, right? Where this 1700 candle opens, so it's actually here. So it's basically my key level, okay? Very important price level. So let's lock in and let's see what we get. Good morning, good morning. Let me just check this one thing on gold here really fast on my smaller time frames. So we had positions at the Sunday open on gold. I don't know if you guys trade that on like on CFD or anything like that, but still looking to push those a little bit higher today, potentially above 52. So we'll see how that ends up playing out too. But if you're in those positions, we're obviously break even. We're just attacking the daily supply candle because if we do go make all-time highs, then great, right? But let's stick to where we're at here. Let's get it. And if you guys have any questions, just drop them here in the chat. I'll do my best to read those and respond. I like that 1 minute mitigation on NQ. I'm gonna be patient here because ES is starting to find its way down, so maybe we're gonna get some divergence here. Okay. I am watching that NQ heavy here on this 5 minute. I'd like to see some strength. If there's no strength, then I'll just be patient because they're still showing some weakness here. Okay. All right, so we're still kind of seeing the rollover. Obviously, you got YM about to take the IBL. All right, so we could move down to the levels we talked about, 46.6, right? Or down in here, I would say 66.70. Now, same thing with NQ, but the difference is with NQ is I'm about to be locked in, right? I'm gonna be locked in once we come into this area like this, okay? Right under these lows, I'll be definitely looking for the signals, okay? So, well, since we know that higher time frame area, what I'm gonna do is bring you guys back to the middle monitor here. All right, because this is where we're going to be focused on executing if we do see the move. All right, now I'm watching a smaller time frame on the window to my right. So if I see the stuff that I want to see here, then I'll end up taking the trade. As it looks right now, I'm probably going to be shooting for more like waiting for IBL. Like if they build it right here, then they build it. But I'm liking the vibe of that a little bit more. But they definitely could hold these 24/750s. Okay, this is a really good area. Let me actually focus up here. They might have already taken off right there. I like that 1 minute play, to be honest, how it looks. If you guys see this here, I like how that dump candle formed. But I'm gonna be patient today. And then we're also inside of a 4-hour demand, so that might lift off right there. That might be a pretty good spot right there, to be honest. Yeah, it lifted off pretty good. So that might have been it right there, like taking that New York open buy off 775 with this liquidity at the highs. So it's okay if it runs now, because like I said, a lot of times I usually want the draw and liquidity to be a part of the move that I take. So let me take a screenshot of this. So that was definitely an easy 1 to 3. Just to have an idea. Yeah, first 5 minutes, okay. So to see that lift off was pretty good. So if you guys are looking for positions, it would be a lot more dangerous here. But you could see that move up to the 875s. All right, so like from here, like if you took it, like say if you're trying to buy this position here, it could be more dangerous because it'll want to come down a little bit first before it goes higher. But if you do take a position like this, I would frame up the 5 minute area like this and look for your 1 to 3, okay? Which would be getting you up to the, like I said, the 875s. Not really seeing it on the 1 minute yet. There'll be like a V-shaped recovery type of situation if it's going to do it, I believe. We're in the right higher time frame locations as well, being in that H4 demand. So to see that, let me actually bring this back here. Something like this would be a little bit more dangerous, right? You'd probably want it's a continuation, but if you want to wait for the V-shaped recovery, then you can. But if you if you want to take this as your first shot, you can. If you missed, excuse me, if you missed the New York Open 1 minute play. Looking at that price though, that looks pretty good because they're engulfing that area. So if they can just continue through, right, and just take this high, I would say, like, say if you took this position, I would say if you get above this, if you get to 850s, I would be break even. I wouldn't accept anything above that if you took that right there. Because I feel like the V-shaped recovery is about to happen, and then we'll get to take the actual one we want. But I do like the 1 minute, how it did create like this order block type of situation, and it's starting to show strength right there. Okay. So if you can get that push up, that's great. If you're already in, I would say you're probably at a 1 to 3 if you took that 1 minute position that we talked about right here. Like if you took it right at New York Open, put your risk, you're probably very close to your 1 to 3. Okay. But as you push into this 5 minute supply, you got to realize they could just reject, right? Because they're in 15 minute supply as well. They could reject and go to New York low. But the likelihood of it right now looks a little bit better to push through, but we'll see. So we'll make sure we know where that New York low is. I'd rather a little bit deeper, to be honest. But we'll see how that plays. That 1 minute doesn't look so bad to potentially do it. Right, the way that that's responding off that demand candle like that, that looks like a good shoot up, right? A good continuation. Potential. ES is holding its area as well. YM did deliver the lows, so that's a good sign at the same time. If they can extend above this 5 minute supply, 24,850s. Just think it's a little early. I'll take a screenshot of this really quick in just a second and see if it can extend. All right, so this 5 minutes getting ready to close. Let's see if it closes with strength. It's a good solid close, but then this might be the V-shaped recovery right here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's see if we can get in there. This is like the area that I'm kind of wanting it to get into, so let's see. It's essentially the same price. Okay. Just with the added spike down, which is lit. Let me sell too. That 5 minute just doesn't look aggressive enough in that supply. I still like this area, even though they spiked down to push the 1 to 3, but it's just how they're playing right here inside the supplies. Just gotta wait. Let me see what that 1 minute looks like. I like that 15 minute area still. Need my coffee. Okay, so let's see. This is the 5 minute. Let's see if we can get a little bit lower here. Now, as we get, as we get lower into this 15 and 5, what I want to see is that how they respond at that New York Open. So we move this down. Sorry. Still watching that area. Watching the higher time frame. Let's see what that 1 hour is. Let's see how they turn here. This minute's about to close. Let's see how they play here. So I'll let you guys know if I'm gonna if I'm gonna buy that position. I'm just kind of waiting here. I like this area here at New York Open, guys. Alright, so I'm going to attempt that area with about a 20 handle risk. So my risk is going to go at like the 60s. And this, so we'll try this one as the first area. The reason why I like this area is if they come a little bit lower on that 1 minute. They already came lower. So that's a scratch for me, actually. Damn. That 1 minute needed to come a little bit lower. So like I said, I'm going to stay locked in on this area. Take a look at ES, not seeing that much strength. This is looking pretty weak. Still watching though. Let me do this because I can't see the 1 hours. We're in a good 1 hour area as well, I feel like. Let's see how this 5 minute closes. That was a really, really weak close. So like I said, on a 1 minute, I wouldn't take this trade just because of that 5 minute candle closing lower. I would want to see them now probably take the initial balance low. So one scratch on that first part, and then we'll see if we can take it a little bit lower here and get that IB low to sweep. To New York lows. That was the New York low. New York low. Okay, so picture. Now my next attempt will probably be, like I said, somewhere in that 24,650s, 24, yeah, like 24,650s, or just right when if they sweep this IB low. 24,650. Now another thing is they like to trick people at the bottoms and tops. So noobs buy tops and sell bottoms. So they could try to fake out a little bit here and still hold the range. So I definitely want to be, locked in. But I would prefer the IBL sweep down to, like, to break the 700 level here. Take some notes here really quick. Okay, so this is where I really want to be locked in, so I'm going to be focused up here. Alright, so we're coming into that higher time frame area that we wanted, which was 650s. Fast moves right there, so that's interesting. No signs of strength on the small time frame though yet. I'd like to see at least one 1 minute sign of strength. But those IBL taps can really respond really fast. So I'm gonna at least try to see if I can see one candle close here with some strength. Okay. So now if we can come back into 710s or lower, I think there's a good chance to potentially buy this. But if it just takes off, it takes off. I'm not gonna like force my way into this one. It looks pretty good though, with that sweep of liquidity. All right, let's see. Pretty good response. I mean, that's already a 30 handle, 40 handle response off those lows. So good 5 minute close right there as well. Back into the range. I mean, that thing could take off. So we'll see, guys. That was a pretty good setup for the 1 to 3. Like that would have been legit to be done right there. I would say, like, even if you took it on the 1 minute break, like the breaker candle here, you're essentially still getting very close to your 1 to 3, or you could be break even. So might have just missed the tap, unfortunately, because that definitely would have been what I wanted to take. Let me take a screenshot of that really quick. Okay. Just an idea there. And they're all responding after the IB sweep, so that's even better. Okay. So just being patient. No 5 minute strength though still, which is very interesting here, okay? Because we had an initial balance low, and now we have a new low of day. All right, and they're not showing any strength yet, so. Low of day. Okay. Now this is where I want to be locked in on small time frames here. So let me see what we get. Take a look at ES is responding off the IB. Maybe we can go to 650s first. And so if you did take that buy, I would say, obviously, like I said, you want to have profits already locked out, like or where you're going to go, like where you're trying to get out of, because that's how fast it could, change. So I'm being patient still here. Took one with a scratch, and then we got looking for the second entry here. So if they take this low of day, then I'll just wait for price to, yeah, cool. So I'll wait for price to develop here. So that maybe it'll develop here at the 650s, or maybe it's gonna slide down the market open. We'll see. But I could definitely see something here at the 650. So let's stay locked in. And then QQQ did gap down and is looking very bearish, so. Okay. Definitely really bearish on that, so. Okay, keep our eyes on this higher time frame here. Which this was a part of the bias, is that we could roll over based on where we were at. So not seeing any strength right now. What time is it? 8:55 to 9. I like where we're at on that H1, so let's just be alert here. I need to see a little bit of something here on that 5 that shows me that we could potentially short cover, but I feel like they also could go down on that H1 below that demand candle, so we'll see. But this could be a nice response as well. Like those 250s here, those are really good levels, I feel like. But we'll see. ES is moving lower, 6,700. So market open at 66.8550. So yeah, I think YM goes to 46,600, what I talked about in the pre-market, where the low resistance lows were. They're pretty obvious. So I'll show that here really quick. But I'm still waiting on this area to deliver possibly an entry. I do like these 650s just from a higher time frame perspective as well, but let's see. I want to see something on the 5-minute here. It looks pretty weak. I do like these 650s. Let's see if we can get a turnaround though. What time is it? It's almost 9. Yes, let's see. 9 is usually a good time too. Nice lift off. Let's see. Try the 650s, guys, if you guys have a chance. Be careful though. Right, they filled me at 665s. Okay. So this is kind of what I have on the board right now. And I'm just looking for that push through here so that I can go break even for trade number 2. All right, already have your preset. If you did get in on something like this on small time frames, have your preset 1 to 3 already ready so that you can, all you have to do is go break even if you have the chance to. I do like the higher time frame location as well. So like I said, it's inside the H1 demand. So let me just mark that real quick. Okay. Bang. So I think we're gonna get that. So I do want to show this really quick from a perspective of like understanding. If the entry does work, the reason is because we identified the area pre-New York, okay? That we wanted to see the shorts cover potentially right in here. Right, which would give us back up to that 3R area. Okay. So we are getting ready to deliver that potentially. Let's see here again. If you have lost a trade, I would say, and you have a pretty good entry, cover. Right? Don't leave it up to chance. Because you're always going to get another chance to shoot for another 1 to 3. Now, targets on this are going to be back to like, I'll explain that here if we get this 727, 730 area to deliver. All right, I'm break even on the position, so I'm not going to like risk anything at this point, okay? And then TPs on something like this, you just want to know, excuse me, know where the New York high is. So something like this is going to be the New York high. All right, my 1 to 3 just, it's close to delivering. At 25, it'll deliver if it hits 25. So we want New York high as a target. So if you do the math or just do the calculations here of what you're risking, all right, let's just do this like this. And you know where that 1 to 5 is, right? That's still, I mean, you're still looking good. So getting above New York highs, right? Because this is the New York open here, would give you about a 1 to 8. And then getting right above that area like this, like above those 850s, would give you about a 1 to 9. So if you cut half your position, like half my position just came off, we secured those losses that I took in the very first trade. And then now break even on the remainder, okay? So if it just rolls over, we're good. But if it does continue up to that New York high or above New York open, right, then you're able to secure, let's just say you take only, like you only want New York open today and you want like a 6R remainder, like right above that area. Well, you've already cut half, so you'd be looking at still 3R plus your 1.5, okay? And so I lost one trade, which was 1R, and I made that back with my partial right there with 1.5, and now I'm break even, so the only thing I can do is go up, if that makes sense. And so I'll talk about the 1 minute entry here in a second and like why I wanted to see that play like that and why it played so fast. But I think we're going to get a really good one here. Now, overall target is getting above the London highs. That would be really nice, and getting back into the 950 level. So understand what I'm talking about here is, you know, we've got the trade, we're in the higher time frame location, and then getting back above the high of day, or that London area high would be touching that daily open would be pretty interesting, but that's asking for a lot, okay? And so understanding where we're at and how we could still find our way to that gap, that's why we're covered on the remainder of the position. So we'll see. And I would say if you've lost a trade or two at this point and you got that 1 to 3 to deliver with your full volume, that's it. Just call it one, you know? It's up to the trader. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but yeah, I'm just basically playing outside the opening range gap. I mean, that makes sense. Most traders, we get stuck trying to get our first trade inside the initial balance, and they like to slip out of the initial balance before they actually go the right way, even if they go lower here. Okay. Now, I'll talk a little bit about management if we start to rally higher, right? And how I'm going to trail it if we do get that to present. But it should be break even, should be partialed out of the position, and should be in some profits here. And I'm going to take a screenshot of the remainder here. Now this is a massive inefficiency on the 5 and the 1 minute here. So either they're going to fill that area or they're just going to run away from it. What time is this? 9. Okay, 9:05 to 9:10. So as you can see, like we're testing inside the initial balance. So if price can close 5-minute bodies inside that IB, most likely we're going back for New York open at minimum, and the New York highs, right? So that's kind of what I noticed a lot of times in situations like this. And then looking at YM and ES, they did the same thing. They took the IB low and they the shorts covered, and you're starting to see a really good response. Let's see if we can see enough to push us through at least 1 to 5 here. You'd want to see, like I said, 5-minute candles here in about a minute, closing above IB, right? So above IB is the 24,700. If it's not closing above that level, essentially that trade's not as good to me at that point. All right, so they got about a minute. They could easily reach down and go. So. But if you're locked anywhere below 680s, or like where like the location we talked about, then you should be break even. $50. Oh, that's a lot of time. All right, let's see these 20 seconds. If this 5-minute can close, like I said, above 700, there's a better chance that we're going to continue up to at least New York open point of interest. But if it, starts to roll over here, then the low of day and the break evens most likely get hit, and they want to go down to market open 24,500, which I may wait for that, but I don't know. Since I was able to secure that partial back. Let's see this 5-minute. This 5-minute goes right above 750s here with this one candle. Then there's a good chance, and like I said, they'll at least go to POI. Five minutes aren't looking that strong here at 700s and IB. So let's see. I do like the high on the overnight high for YM, which is going to be like right above 47,200. So if we can reach back above the London highs essentially on all three, that would be amazing. But like I said, even getting back to New York Open here on this NQ position would be a 1 to 5R. So let's look at, I just want to look really quickly at the 1 minute. I don't want to like spend time on it, but you guys can see we're starting to show a little bit more signs of strength. So if that 5-minute can start to close above this area like this, all right, like starts doing what it's doing right now, then the likelihood of price to continue up to POI is going up a lot, okay? All right, 5 minutes starting to rally up. Let's see if we can reach back to New York Open. really nice. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this. So this is the position, like I said, that we're looking at, and this is the same position that I took with you guys. Okay. Same position, looking for that high on day, looking for New York Open. They gave me 669s. I had 4 contracts. I cut 2, right? And yeah, same situation that we were looking at. It's just now, can they get up to this point of interest, right? Because that New York low, they could fail this New York low, and then that be the area where they just roll back over. So we want to see, we've got the IB close, but now can we see price close above basically 750s here, or 740s essentially. Make sure you're protected. Don't just leave anything open, because we could easily just turn over. Especially if this 5-minute doesn't close with strength here, in those 720s, and the next minute close. Like if they don't close with strength right here, then they could definitely roll back over into the inefficiency. Yeah. Christopher, the entry was the 670s with a 20 handle risk. So 50 level. I wanted to grab that 50 level, but it was just too tight trying to explain it at the same time. So, but we still got a really good area. We got the location that I want essentially, which is the 5-minute demand candle, and then seeing the 1-minute price. So like, just kind of give you an idea. We got the location. We want our trade to be right inside this candle on a 5, and we want to be able to read a shift in price delivery like this on a 1-minute. So like, that's why I was like, as soon as I seen that, I got to make sure I take that entry at least in the opening of that 5-minute candle, which is like 668, 670s. Okay. But right now, here's 2 things you could do. If you lost a trade and you're still up a small bag, you could go ahead and trail everything to right under these lows if you wanted. But me personally, what I like to do is wait for the second half of my position to potentially reach the 1 to 5, so that I can secure the 2.5R. So it's either I'm going to have a small win after the scratch, or I'm going to be able to, have that 1.5R win here, and then have the 2.5 if we reach the New York Open, which still makes about 3, almost 4R on the day, which if you're risking, about 1-2R a day, you're still looking pretty good. But we'd want to see, like I said, this 5-minute candle did close high. I wanted 910 and 915, so the likelihood of them going up, if they can close above this New York low, and the 750 is going up. Okay. But they have to, they don't have to, I don't say those words, but they most likely would need to get above that original New York low. Okay. Not really seeing the strength above that New York area, right? ES is doing the very same thing. So let's watch this 15 and see. So it's like they're failing to close inside the IB, basically, which shows more signs of weakness to the downside. So if they break that 700 level again, like a body close on the 5 minute, then that means they're probably going to the new low of day. Okay, so the new low of day is actually right here, right now. Low of day. All right. And that's why I said the 50 level would be on the 1 minute was the best spot, because then you could have had 50 level with the risk of 30, which would have been a low of day. But I'll take what I got. Now, if they come in and tap this area and just go, that's just part of it, you know. But let's see, because let's see if they just fill the imbalance here on the 5 and then turn up. Yeah, they're coming back on those. It's not for sure yet. Let's see. ES is weak. YM is weak. Now I'll talk about something really quick. That's why I really want this to not be in the expansion and be closer to like 57s, because it makes it a lot easier to manage if this does just turn around. Okay, but we're getting close there. $670. So that came back from my partial, or excuse me, from my break even after the partial. So they may still want this area, to be honest. I have no idea. But what I would wait for at this point, for me personally, is going to be them to slip this low of day. And then we can look at a little bit higher time frame to see where there's more resting liquidity. And so I would say under these lows of 24,576s, and then as well down here at market open. So I'm still going to be locked in on this area, just because, like I said, I wanted that little bit lower of an entry. But I'm just watching. I'm not going to most likely take anything here. Yeah, because those 1 hours still look pretty heavy. So I'm going to move this box just in case we do end up finding something. Now I'm going to keep this box here just because I do want to know what my R&R would be from this area if I like that 1 minute, which I kind of do, but it is what it is. So I do like how that area is still responding. So getting that entry a little bit better on that 50 level would have been really nice, because then you would have had the actual low of day as a risk. So basically I'd be looking at like the 675s. Let's look at this here. Just kind of seeing. Take a look at ES. ES still inside the IB. I like this area still, guys, to be honest. What time is it? Still like the timing, but if you have that lower entry, you're still good. If you have that 50 level. Sorry, I'm gonna mark this here. Alright, let's watch this 5-minute close. Make sure I can see that 1 hour. That IB rejection was nice. I still like these 670s though. So if you like the 670s, I would target for your 1 to 3 or 733s, obviously. But just be careful here. But it looks like a pretty good area to still bounce. And then how the 15's wicking, so that's a good area, I think. So I've got my limit sell set for 733s. And then we're targeting the daily high. So let's see. Yes, it's let me take a screenshot of this really quick before it drips or something crazy. So if we can push above the 700s, and that's going to be interesting to see because they did respond pretty well, but it's just there's not enough 5-minute strength right now. I just like those 670s. I like how it looks on the 1 as well, right? How it's actually like, how it's actually framing up here. Because just to get to your 1 to 3 potential, but it's just not enough 5-minute strength right now. You need to see this, 5-minute candle close above 700s, I think. It's 5 minutes just aren't looking strong. Those IB, that 24/700 area was super resistant, so we'll see. those areas aren't gonna work, I don't think. The 670s, yeah, that's not gonna work, I don't think. Yeah, so that was a scratch for me. So one scratch, a partial, and then a scratch. So I have room for one trade for the day. On the remainder. So I might just call it one. I don't know. I might look for a little bit lower here. The 24.6. I still don't know if they're gonna break lower yet. So just be patient here. YM starting to fade. ES looks weak under the IB. So they're all looking really, here, let me show this really quick. They're all looking pretty weak under IB. So under IB low, ES under IB low, YM under IB low, and going for the area we talked about, 4 hour and H1. So let me stay locked in though. Because I want to wait for that transitional time here. And then, like I said, I'd be looking for, if they don't reclaim in this area, which it doesn't look like they're going to, I would be looking for 550s on that H1. Right, so what we're looking for here is under this wick here. Okay, so we have a new low of day. We're still in that higher time frame area, so that 4 hour. Still got a little bit to go to get to that new week opening gap, right? So anything between 24,600 and 24,500 is the new week opening gap. So that's what we talked about pre-New York as well, is like getting down into this area here. Yeah, we got a free fall potential here. And then let's go back to here because I need this for the recording. Okay, so we're just making our way down to that opening gap, 550s level. So we, like I said, the shorts to cover from New York from inside the initial balance. We'll see if there's a response at the right time in this area, and if not, then that'll be it for me today. Okay, so I'm starting to kind of see what I like on a smaller time frame. I've already taken. Okay, so be locked in here, guys. I do like a potential here from the 610s. Where your risk could essentially be the low of day, and then your 1 to 3 would be 670s. So I like the 5-minute location though. All right, it's like something like this, and then how it looks on a 1 minute. You had the shift, so this could be potential. I usually like to see that 5-minute close strong, but if you're looking for that 1 to 3 to deliver, that's a pretty good 1 minute setup. When you have dump, play the right side, second candle, and then go. So even if you're, like I said, if your entry 617, that's still a pretty good 5-minute location potentially. But we want to see that 5-minute strength, so that's going to be a lot better at the right time as well. Let me see here really quick. Write that down. The 5-minute hasn't closed the strength though. Yeah, that didn't. Write that down really quick. See if they even give me a chance to write it down. And then looking at ES, they're not looking too strong still yet. Excuse me, sorry guys. This is the area. So the 50% of the candle where the 1 minute basically played. So if it doesn't work out here, I would say the only other area is gonna be that 550 area. It doesn't look too strong here on 5 minutes, so need that sign of strength candle, honestly. Let's see, let me write that down. Yeah, so that's gonna put me at a loss for the day. Let me see where I'm at too. So we'll see. We'll see if we get, like I said, we'll see if we get the slip on the H1, which I don't know which one you guys can see. The slip below this H1 area we talked about into the 550s, maybe even market open, and then see here at 45 going into 10 if that area is gonna work. If that area doesn't work, then it is what it is. Because if they sell this back off below the 300s, oof, that's crazy today. Didn't have 5 minutes on the strength. most of the time though now. Take a look at ES here. Let's see if we get the 5 minute strength here. If we get the 5 minute strength here, be ready. Because there could be definitely an entry though, with this going into like close to the last 15 minutes of the hour. With a small sign of strength. I do like it. Okay. So with that sign of strength, you could basically be knowing to play the 1 minute right side if you wanted to. You just have to be ready. So something like this, potentially. But they're not pushing that strong, so just depends. They may dip a little lower first. This is my 15 window? Oh, okay, I can't even see. So just frame, let me see. Oh, that's the 5 minutes. Sorry, we gotta look at the 1. Why is it not showing up on the 5 here? It should be showing up on the 5. I don't know why it's not. That 5 minute isn't really that strong, so it's not really that great of a candle, to be honest. I'm gonna watch 15.5 here really quick so I can see it. So two, okay. That 5 minutes not strong enough. Wow, come on, do not do that. Don't do that close. Just kind of watching the response in this area here. ES still moving lower. Not really showing me yet. Okay, let's see here. Just want to see if they can like build into this area to then snipe this area here. I like this already though, so if you take an entry, like I like this to come up, but let's see if they can turn this thing. I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. I like it. So literally by a tick for me on that one. Let's see. Now I'm going to go back to 15.5 so we can focus on higher time frame price, but I'm watching a small time frame, okay? Now, what we wanted to see happened, right? We got the 1 minute midi on the right side, and then the sign of strength shift. You can play that, or you could have played this level right here, right inside this candle. Depends on, you know, how you got it. I like to see the shift on the 1 minute to be able to play it. Okay, so the 1 to 3 should deliver if you took that one. And if you're that close and you have like an entry here, if you're above, I'd say the 600 level, I would be break even, just because you don't know if it's gonna go or not, you know. So something like this. Looking at the higher time frame, I didn't even mark on the higher time frame. I needed to mark over there. All right, so it could easily fall over, so you just got to be ready. So if you want, go ahead and be break even if you took that trade there, if you took that 1 minute situation once it started to rally, just because we're so close to the 1 to 3 that it's either going to hit the 1 to 3 and give you that partial, or it's going to come back to your break even at this point on a 5 minute. Take a screenshot of this over here really quick. Hopefully I don't curse the trade here. Okay. Yeah, ES is doing the same thing. It's playing below IB. Alright, if you look at ES, it's literally doing the exact same thing. So your 1 to 3 should have delivered, right? My 1 to 3 just delivered. All right, and now we're off to the races, break even, okay? So if we can run up to the highs, great, but that 1 to 3 should have delivered for you. Beautiful, beautiful. We had to work for that. But if you come back and look at this recording and look at how we waited on that 5 and 1 minute and what we waited for, then that makes it a lot better, okay? Now know where your 1 to 5 is, right? Because if you've already lost a trade, like I lost a trade, you could be done for sure based on the math if you're doing it right when it hit that area, okay? And if you're not for sure, just secure your 1.3 so you can secure we already secured your 1.5 and secure another 1.5 so you're good on the day. Me personally, I would stay at about a 1.2 here. Right, like keep your risk right under that low if you're worried about it not breaking through the supply or closing back above IB. All right, because it definitely can happen. So maybe secure the lows here, the 634s if you want to. As well as know where that 1 to 3 is so you can secure another 1.5 if you like to. Looking at higher time frames, not looking too hot. Let's see how this 5 minute candle plays. Not looking too hot. Really watching that 5 minute area. I would secure under those 5 minute lows just in case. So what I'm saying is right here, like under that low, you could secure your risk right there, like risk off if you wanted to. my risk just came. So I trailed my risk in that situation just to secure the bag for the day. I think we did pretty okay. That got me back to like a small green. So the one thing I will say is on that position, when we have that 1 to 3 rally that quickly, you've got to know to have your 1 to 5 already marked out as well, so that if you've had a losing day, you could be done on the day, or you could you go ahead and start managing trailing the 2R. So let's say you lost a trade, like I had lost a trade, we got the 1.5 to deliver, then it came up and hit the 5R area. Now you can trail your risk to the 1.3R, so you still secure that 1.5R, right? So it's up to the person though. But for me, let me make sure and check again. I still like the area. I just don't want to try the area multiple times. But I still like the area with the timing. Okay. So continue. Let me move these out of the way. Just kind of show this what we're looking at here. 15 looks kind of weak. Those look kind of weak. Let's see if they hold here. But right now I'm currently I'm not in any trade. That came back for my my trailed risk. I'm just watching smaller time frames over here, just to see what kind of response we possibly get here. So looking at the 1 minute basically. But the way that the 5 minute, 15 minute low looks, it just looks more than likely that they could roll it. So until we see something on the 5 minute, then I'm gonna be patient here. I like the area though, for sure. And then like this is kind of like what I'm seeing. If they hold this area, right? Let me look at like a 1 minute. If they hold this candle right here, they can easily push up to a 1 to 3 again, correct? So good 5 minute location. We're still inside 5 minute demand potentially. It's just that wick low doesn't look as great. Let me take a look at ES. ES is kind of failing IB, so we'll see. But know where your 1 to 3 is, right? And then also always know where your 1 to 5 is if you did take a trade in this situation. If they're gonna go higher, they would turn it on fairly quickly to retrace above 650s. So look at ES here really quick. They just look still pretty heavy on 15 on there. I like YM how they took IBL, so we'll see. With 1 minute left, there's just not that much 5 minute strength. Like you'd want to see that candle above the blue line if they're gonna reach higher on something like this. Just looks heavy. Now, if this does go to deliver back inside IB, and I get this 1.5 deliver, That puts me at a small profit for the day, and I'll go break even, and that's the last trade. And then my target would be back to the New York highs if we were to actually push, or at least New York open if we actually push. This 5 minute has what, 30 seconds before it closes, so it's not looking too strong on 5 minute right now. Really watching ES at 67 as well. So if ES can respond at 67 and YM can respond off that IB low, then we might see short covering. Good 5 minute close back inside this area. So make sure you have your 1 to 3 potentially marked. I have 1 to 5 marked because you guys should know to already have your limit set at the 1 to 3. You want to see a 5 minute print above 650s, I would think, if they're gonna get close to the 1 to 3. Let me plot this position so I can see what it looks like on a higher time frame as well. It's a nice 1 hour wick, so let's see. This 5 minute, like I said, if it can't close above that blue line where they took that previous low, then it could roll. But if it starts to close above 650s, there's a good chance that, like I said, it'll deliver those 680s. It's not looking too strong there on the 5. Two minutes left in the 15 minute and 5 minute candles, so they should work in unison. If it's gonna go up, it should fill 50% of that wick, so like above 660s. But if they're gonna roll over, then we should start to see it here fairly quickly. I like that we're at a 20 level as well, but it's just that we could definitely, the market open is still 24,500, which is still like another 100 handles to the downside. It's not looking too strong there on 5 on previous lows. Let's see how this 5 minute closes. Not that strong on 5 right now. One-hour bar. Not a bad close. Let's see if they can turn on the Jets here up to the 680s. I do like the small time price action, just to kind of show it really quick. I do like how that's stacking, but they need to get above that 650 level. If that makes sense. Like they need to close above that blue line to show us that there's going to be signs of strength back into the range. Or back to IB. H1s look heavy still. ES looking weak. YM looking weak. We'll see. Those 15s look heavy. Come on, 5 minute. Turn the Jets on. This is looking like a 1 hour. Yeah, my area is looking like it's going to deliver, guys. So I think it was 2 partials, 2 losses, 2 partials. That's going to put me at about a 1 loss on the day. So, I mean, we'll see. They're getting very close here. H1s look heavy. ES is heavy. And rejecting IB. So. Yeah, that'll be it. So it is what it is on that one. Like I said, two chances to close those partials. I think if I closed that 1.5, that would have been the move. It just moves so fast. So I might just have to accept my 1 loss and call it 1 in total. I would like to wait, like I said, for the 24.5s. A little bit lower here. I'll show it really quick here. For our market open, our inefficiency gap fill. So we'll see. It'd have to be like super clean, super easy to get. Just make sure you're taking partials when price moves in your favor on those 1.5s, because that'll save you. YM push 50% around away from 48. Yeah. Didn't like those wick lows. I'm still inside IB as well. It's interesting. Price is still holding up that area. If you guys are looking at 1 minute, I mean, that's still holding up pretty well. So we'll see what they do. And we're still in the first 15 minutes of 10, so. It's not seeing any 5-minute strength with those low resistance lows. I did like that 1 minute area off the 600s, but it's just the area twice. You know what I mean? Added. Oh, okay. I was like, what? They're not just like dripping though. That's the thing. Let's see if they hold this 600 level. I just really wanted those 550s, but like this looks pretty good. If you played, like if you had to play right at 600 though, you know what I mean? I just don't like how these 5-minute lows look. That's why I wouldn't really call something like that. I need some more coffee. We'll stay on to like 10:15, see if they how they handle this area or if they roll. Yes, looks pretty heavy on 15s here. But I want to see the response at 67. Like, do they close below there or do they start to hold that area? Minutes aren't looking too great yet. You're kind of turning on a little bit, but like I said, say you framed something like this, like off those 600s, it would still be very tight. You know what I mean? Like you'd have the 5-minute low. Like if you have something like that, it's still super tight. And then with these low resistance lows at the bottom, it's just more difficult. So That's how I would frame it though. If I would only want to take that 600 level on that smaller time frame. But I still think we're gonna move down to those 550s. So let me take this off so you guys don't get confused. But if you are in that area, that's what I would like. But I mean, I don't like how those lows are presented on the 5 minute here. So those look good. Let's see if 550s can deliver here. H1 still looks weak. Okay. We got 5 minutes to see if they're gonna deliver. Got some room. We're just pretty bearish. I think we could roll to market open. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I think we could roll right through these low resistance lows. So let's see if we can do that. And then reach down to, like I said, market open the 500 level. But I gotta see them take that. I wanna see them take that low if they're gonna do it here. ES is pretty weak, so that's a good sign. But we're already at market open on ES, so. Good sweep of the liquidity, right? So that's it just kind of taps, which is dangerous. Let's see if they can just roll now to the downside here. I need some more coffee, dude. What time was that? 10 to 10:15. so nice draw on liquidity. Let's see. We came and we took that 1 hour 577 area. Just not seeing anything that's clear right now. Yeah, still pretty heavy. How about YM? Really watching this 5, because if we could just extend down, then I think we move to that market open. That's what I'm really wanting to see if we're going to do that or not. They've been pretty heavy. I feel like they want that 550 level. Still weak. How's YM doing? Tay, I don't know if you're still on. It looks weak over there right now. I'm wondering if this is like, since we got that draw liquidity, right? Could we be possibly seeing that turnaround jumper? I'd need to see a 5-minute strength before I want to attempt it though, personally. Just because everything's been pretty weak. It's just how they're forming this. They've got the draw liquidity, and then they're starting to form that midi. I mean, I like that, but it's just the time. We're on the side of a dump too. Let's see. This 5-minute closes with strength, maybe. If not, then I'll wait till 500s. Just how they're building it right here. I want to see if they close 5-minute strength after the draw. Let's see. It didn't go lower, which is interesting. Let's see. No sign of strength though yet. They're not pushing lower though either. I just like the area because it has that draw in the 777 area, but I'd like to see, like I said, a 5-minute body close strong. That would kind of show me more of like for sure buyers want to step in there. If not, I think it just rolls over to the market open. That next spot is 550s to deliver the no wick candle on the way up. Nice little roll. Five minutes a week. ES is starting at market open. YM is definitely below market open, down below 46.8. So could definitely fill at least the market open 500 levels. Let's see how this 5-minute closes. I just like where they're at on the higher time frame for short covering. That could be the area, guys, that we're looking for, that short cover. Oof, that 1 minute definitely just presented a nice area. Let me look. Now 10:30 is when the London close happens, so sometimes there's definitely a move in that area. Someone's calling me. They are starting to make that move up. I like the higher time frame area. I like where ES is too. Let's see this 5-minute close here. If it closes with strength, there could be a chance that this thing could go back for those 750s. Good close right there. Now can they what can they do here? Can they hold this area or can they run it? I just want to show this for the recording, like the 1 minute midi, right? They came down, they slipped the liquidity. You got a 5-minute sign of strength, and maybe you're playing that 1 minute area, but depends on what type of day you've had. Don't force it, you know. But that wick, this wick right here, 50% of this area is 680s. I just feel like they're gonna deliver that 680 fairly quickly. Okay, let's see if that can work out. So, like, I'm looking at this is from this perspective, okay? So you have the 1 minute demand entry. Most likely you're taking it on that when it starts to show you the sign inside the 5-minute location. So this could be a good 1 to 3 here, about to play out. Even if you took it after the 5-minute close, right? Like even if you took this here, right, after the breaker candle, I still think that's a good trade potentially. Because of, I just want to show this too, because of where we're at and the liquidity that we grabbed right here. So this to me was a liquidity grab right under that low. Now that doesn't mean we have to run up, it just means there's a good chance that shorts are covering, okay? So liquidity grab, LQ sweep, right? So now if we go back to smaller time frames, it makes more sense to see like why this area would possibly work, if that makes sense. So I like the 1 minute area a lot more because that 5-minute area could just turn on you very quickly. So you just have to be very careful. Now, like I said, 10:30 is that magical time. You should see London close coming. So if you did get in that trade, depending on where you got in, let's say you got in from 600s, then you still are looking at a 1 to 3 here at the 660s, okay? And if you've lost a trade and you took those 600s, I would probably be break even right now if you're looking for only 660s. If that makes sense. But I do like how that price is coming, so they end up giving me right below 6. So I took mine like right there at 6 essentially. So I'm gonna frame up the area that's actually framed. But like I said, if you have this 600 area, then I would probably be risk off to get to your 1 to 3. Because either they're going here to fill that wick, like this wick here. So we're looking at this wick, right? This wick right here, we're going to fill that 50% of that wick, or we're not. That's like the only two things that are gonna happen right now. So make sure you're risk off if you took this inside this area. Like if you took the 600s, I would have my risk at least like right above that area, so you're not like susceptible to getting clapped. So So if you took at 600, you could put your risk. What I'm saying is this box is in the way, sorry. But like right under this candle's low. Because that 5 minute has 11 seconds, and if it doesn't close with some strength, then they're going to dig into this area before they go. Cool. So mine came back for the area, I believe. Gotta look here. No, we're gonna buy a tick still. Cool. Still just watching this area here. Yes, that market open, so. Okay, remember if you can get to that 1 to 3, we're definitely break even off this because starting to show a little bit of signs, but it's just not enough 5 minute for me. I need to see a burst above 650s here. And then plotting that move from the 600s. On the higher time frame, it looks good. Good 4-hour area, good daily. And we have the London close already at 10:30, so let's see if those London players basically are tired and they're going to start to cover those positions at least back up to IB. If you didn't go break even, if you accepted the risk on this, then like I said, you're still just waiting for your 1 to 3 to deliver. Mine came in literally almost a tick of my entry, so it's very close. Come on, show us some love here, coach. If this 5 minute area doesn't work though, that'll be it, because I've tried, and this is break even, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Ah, it's so close. Let's see how this 5 minute closes. I came back for the break evens, I believe. Ah, literally a tick. We're still there. Oh my Atlanta, if they do this is great. It literally came in like a tick of the entry, guys. So I'm just trying to see if they're gonna hold it or not. Wow, let's go. So we get out of this area and we get this 1 to 3. Like I said, I'm gonna be grateful because I still think they want market open 24,500. And they came to it. Solved. All right, so that's it for me today, guys. Because that was I had at least one loss full, and then I had I think 3 partials in total. So that's gonna put me at a small loss for the day. Let me check. Yeah, it's gonna put me at like almost 3-3. So that'll be the end of the stream. Just because, like I said, I do want the 550s or the 24,500s, but like I said, I'm not gonna like risk more for it to get there. But continue to watch this area, and then like I said, if you can see like on a H1, like as we get down into this inefficiency, maybe they present the move, but it's also Thursday, so they may wait until Friday, drag it down, and then or end of day to do it, and so we'll see. So with that being said, though, for the stream purposes, that's probably gonna be it for me today, just because like I said, I don't really see anything else that like I can factor into that's gonna give me the R multiple that I want. So let me take a look at this really quick. Yeah, I mean, I would be willing, but like I said, I have to be grateful for what they give me so far too. But continue to watch that area, guys, because like that 5-minute area looks amazing. Like it just looks like that could be the area that they really want to go crazy at. So I almost don't want to end the stream right at the right time, but yeah, that's literally printing the area probably. So, yeah, that'll be it for me today. If they take it and they go, it is what it is. I don't really care. But I do like the area, guys. Just say. Have a good one.